Hello and welcome. Today we're talking about Opus Clip, an AI video editing tool that I've come across recently and I've been loving quite a lot. So I thought let's make a review, let's make a walkthrough. So I'm going to talk a bit about the actual tool, what it does, and then we're going to jump into my premium version so I can actually show you how the video clipping works in reality. So let's get into it. So basically what Opus Clip promises is turning long form content into short form clips. So basically you can take, a video that's 1 hour long and turn it into 100 different short clips, all with the power of AI that clips it for you, shortens it, re-edits the clips and makes them more engaging as short form content for social media. So does it deliver on its promise? Well, stick around to find out. Yeah, let's get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about is the pricing. So Opus Clip has three main pricing tiers. The starter, which starts at $15 per month if you buy the annual subscription. The Pro, which is $14.50 or $29, depending on annual billing versus monthly. And you've also got custom business pricing. So the one I've signed up to is the Pro version, just purely because of the number of credits it allows me for editing. So basically there's different tiered sections, so you can choose multiple packs within each tier, which to be honest is a bit confusing. I wish they made it a bit simpler and there's three options. This is option A, this is option B, this is option C, but instead you've got option A and then there's like 5 different options within that, or even more actually. So the pricing is a bit confusing, but if there's one main takeaway that, if you're going to be editing quite a lot, you're probably looking at about $14 to $30 per month in terms of costs, which for the functionality that it offers, I think is a pretty great value, value for money. And I'm going to show you in a second why I think that is. So if we log into my dashboard, I'm going to show you how it actually looks like inside. So this is the dashboard once you're logged in, so you can see the number of credits here. I'm on the Pro plan. I've got 285 credits, which expire in 48 days, and you can always add more credits if you need to. This is where all your videos sit. And basically, so I'm going to show you how today we're going to turn a long form video into a bunch of short clips. So the one that I chose is a client video interview here in this format. It's basically just a recorded Zoom call with obviously 2 screens of 2 different participants, and there's no editing whatsoever on it. It's just a 14 or 15 minute long clip, which just is talking, nothing else, completely unprocessed. I'm going to play it to you so you see how it looks like before we actually let Opus Clip does its work on it. It's a big pillar of our current marketing strategy for a lot of the clients. So I was also curious, what were your thoughts on our UGC process? And so it's basically just me asking the client about their experience with our service. Again, like I said, no editing of any kind, quite long, there's nothing that's been done to it. What we're going to do is we're going to go into Opus Clip and we're just going to upload it. So a very good thing about Opus Clip is it seems to be very generous in terms of the sizes of files that you can upload. So videos up to 30 gigabytes, which I think is very, very large and generous in terms of what they allow to process, and all the way up to 10 hours in a single file. So what we're going to do is we're just going to upload this file here, and then we just get clips in one click. So obviously it's going to process it, which depending on the file size and the file length will take anywhere between a few seconds to possibly up to a few minutes. But yeah, it's already been uploaded and it tells you how much credits it's going to use. So this one is going to use 14 credits. Then you have the option to either filter by specific keywords. So for example, in this interview, if I want to focus just on UGCs, the parts that we're talking about UGCs, I can just add those keywords in there and Opus Clip will prioritize making clips that are, when we're actually talking about this specific topic. Or you can just leave it empty. You can, let the AI scan it and decide what is best. You can also choose the category. So if there's a very specific sort of if it's a webinar, it's a podcast, you can let Opus Clip know. I think it'll be a bit better at chopping and changing it. I've honestly been just leaving it as auto and it comes out pretty well. And then again, you can also choose the length of clips that you want to be edited from this. And again, you can either just leave it in auto, or if you have specific preference, if you have really short clips, just under 30 seconds, you can choose that. And there's specific templates. That's more just like the editing style, the kind of subtitles, which by the way, you can change later on. So we're just gonna leave it as the default. And then we're just gonna let it, well, let's just put the language as English, just in case. I'm pretty sure the AI is smart enough to know that it's English, but just in case. And then we just click, get clips in one click. And now it's gonna start processing. And this is where the bulk of the time goes into, is actually process it. So you can see it here. The ETA for finishing is about 7 minutes. So I'm gonna come back when this is done, and then we can see the final results. Right, we're back. 7 minutes have passed and Opus Clip has processed the clips. So this is basically what happens afterwards. You go in here, and yeah, we went from having one 15-minute long clip into what, like 10 little short clips, all already edited. I haven't done anything else other than just clicking publish. So it's just done all of this on its own. It's gone and categorized it by little different topics. So like it understood what each of these little clips is focused on, you know, like, and it gives it a little title. So it makes it easier for you to navigate and organize this. You can then go ahead and you can, you know, like a clip, or you can dislike a clip, and then you can, you know, just remove certain ones or keep the ones that you like, and you can clip them. So pretty cool. Let me play you an example of like one of them. Let's go with this one.
I mean, to be honest, what was surprising was that the things that you said were going to happen actually happened. You know, I think in the agency world, like you said, there's a lot of options, but there's also a lot of, you know, kind of BS out there. I think a lot of agencies promise a lot of things. We ultimately fell for that with our first agency.
So pretty cool. You can see that obviously it took out what it considers an interesting moment in the conversation, and it's clipped it on its own. It added the subtitles, which the subtitles, by the way, are usually very on point. Like you don't even have to change any of the words. It really transcribes it super well, gives the subtitles. So, you know, this is on its own is a pretty good clip. You could, you know, go ahead and post that to social media, but you can go one step further and you can finesse it even more and give it more of your own touch. So once you have that, you can basically go and click on edit clip. I just want to show you some of the additional things you can manually do here to make your clips even more interesting. So you will see here, there's a transcript on this side, so you can just double check the words are correct, and you can, you know, just tweak things as you need to. You can, for example, add emojis to specific words. So, you know, we could just add this one in here, and it's gonna add this emoji when the word surprising comes up. So you can make the videos really engaging, even more so than before. You can create your own templates in terms of the branding. So for example, I created my own template here, which basically is a specific font and a specific color for the font, for the text. So you'll see here, I changed it, and now we've got a different color and a different font style. I just turned the volume off just so it's not disturbing, but that's, yeah, you can preset your own branded colors and fonts, which is pretty cool. So another thing, you know, as you saw in the original clip, it was basically just a Zoom recording of Nick and myself side by side, but it actually cropped it on its own and gave it a different feel. So you can, again, also change the cropping. So if you want to have a different person in the shot, or you want to have a different aspect for a different platform, you can also do that, which is super cool. So it's not just for Instagram, not just for TikTok. You can repurpose stuff for YouTube as well. We can choose how we want things to be shown. So let's say that I want myself included in this clip as well. So instead of just showing Nick, I want to also be in the clip. When we can do that, you just do the split function, and now there's both of us. So yeah, flexibility and ability to change it is endless, but you can also make it very simple and just let Opus Clip do it on its own. So let's say we want to have this one. Another very handy feature here is something called AI Enhance. So there's a few things that we can do here. We can, first of all, click something called speech enhancement, once you click that on, basically what it does, it improves the quality of the audio. So it removes any background noise, and it just makes the quality sound much crisper, much cleaner. So it sounds like you're actually using a much higher quality mic than you would have been otherwise. Very cool. If you go back to AI Enhance again, we can remove filler words. Okay, in this specific situation, there was no filler words, but let's say there's lots of ums and Opus Clip can actually remove that for you. This one is super good. It removes the pauses. So now there were some pauses throughout this video. With this clicked on, there's basically none of that. And it just goes, basically it will just create jump cuts for you so that there is no pauses in between. So that's also a super, super handy feature, something that, you know, would normally take an editor lots of time to go through. Now it's just automatically done like this in a matter of seconds. So another very handy thing is that you can add B-roll, which is an enormous time saver. And again, something that you have to previously instruct the video editor to tell them, you know, include this B-roll at this point. Opus Clip actually allows you to, there's two options actually. It allows you to auto-generate AI B-roll, so that's an image, AI-generated image, or you can auto-generate stock B-roll. So we'll just take stock footage from the internet and insert that. Let's try the AI B-roll first. So you just create auto-generate B-roll, and it's gonna create a few scenes with the B-roll. Normally takes about a few seconds, and the good thing is that once it generates the scenes, you can actually then choose to either keep them or change them. You can write your own prompt. So for example, if you don't like the images that Opus Clip has selected for you, you can retype the prompt, and it'll give you an additional options of images for you to select. So you're not, you know, it's not like predefined. You're not stuck with certain scenes. If it doesn't fit your image, your brand, or it just doesn't fit the video, you can regenerate them, or you can just completely delete them. So there we go. It's generated for us 2 scenes. So let me just show you how that looks. So we play it. Yeah, it's just an AI generated image, you know, which just makes the video a bit more engaging. So it's not just the same scene all the time. And there's a second one here. Yeah, it's a pretty fitting image, I would say. And then, yeah, like I said, you can basically change the prompt here, and you can just, yeah, you can write, let's say we want a photo of a laptop in a bright office, people surrounding it and focused on what's on the screen. And you can choose it to be photorealistic, pop art, or surreal. Let's just go with photorealistic for this one. And you can just do, yeah, a regeneration for free. It doesn't take any credits if I'm not mistaken. I mean, it says for free, so I believe it should be free, right? So again, it's loading, and then it's going to give us a few options. So again, you can keep on just regenerating until you find the scenes that you like. And there we go. It's generated for us a few different options of people sitting around and a laptop. This one here maybe is a little too dystopian. It feels a bit dark, but there is some ones that are cool. And again, you can just keep on regenerating this for as long as you want. Let's say we go with this one, and we can actually, yeah, we'll use our own selection. So very cool, and it also gives you the option to do the same thing but with stock footage. So if you prefer to have video stock footage instead of AI generated photos, you can also have that, and that's, again, same kind of story applies. You hit generate, and then you can keep on changing the B-rolls if you don't like it. So that's basically how useful Opus Clip is in editing these clips. You know, in the end, basically we started with a 15-minute Zoom call, completely unedited, and we end up with 10 little clips that we can then repurpose and make them a lot more engaging and ready to be posted on social media, just like that. And that brings me to the final point, that this is actually not the end. Let's say we like this clip and you know, we're ready to export it, and we're happy with how it looks like. We can actually go ahead and post it onto social media directly from Opus Clip. So as you can see here, it gives you the option to actually post it directly to your channels, and it will create a little caption based on the video content. I've just selected my personal profiles here, but yeah, you've got Facebook, you've got Instagram, you've got LinkedIn, X, TikTok, and YouTube, and you can select all of these channels, and you can tweak the caption for each one. So let's say that you want a slightly different caption for LinkedIn, maybe you want it a bit more formal, a bit more long form, you can do that. And for TikTok, you can have a super short caption that's just literally one sentence. So it gives you an enormous amount of flexibility. You can either hit publish now, or you can select a specific time when you want it published. So it's kind of a game changer when it comes to content creation, because back in the day, to do all of this, you probably need 3 different people. You would need someone to creative director to come up with the editing brief of how you want a video chopped and changed. You need a video editor to actually make the changes and edit it, and then you need a social media person to actually post it. And now it's just you and Opus Clip. You can do all of this, chop and change your videos, create like 10 different variations from a single long form video, and then directly immediately afterwards go ahead and post to your social media channels directly from the platform. So I think for the cost of $30 per month, which is the subscription I'm on, it's a really, really good value for money, and I would definitely recommend it. I've been using Opus Clip for about 2 weeks now, so it's relatively new to me, but I found enormous amount of value from this. I run a marketing agency with 10 employees and 10 different clients, and this has helped us a lot in terms of repurposing different styles of content. This helped us a lot to save time and effort on ideation and just watching tons of hours of video content to figure out what is worthy of repurposing, because now you can just outsource that to Opus Clip and it does it for you. So overall, the things I love about Opus Clip is the flexibility, the fact that it's very generous in the file size it lets you upload, the speed, the fact that it actually processes things very fast. We're talking literally like 5 to 7 minutes from the moment you upload a 15-minute video. I love the fact that it gives you the flexibility of adding B-roll, whether that's AI and stock footage. I love the fact that you can have your pre-made branded templates in terms of colors and fonts and stuff like that. And I really, really love that you can then take all of that and you can post it directly onto your social media from the platform itself. So you edit it and straight away you just post it, which is incredibly convenient. But yeah, is there anything that I don't like about Opus Clip? Perhaps the pricing structure is just a bit unnecessarily complicated. Not that it takes away from the software itself, but it can be a bit off-putting at first if you're not familiar with it. So, I think they should simplify it a little bit. But apart from that, I think it's a great tool. It can be a little bit buggy, the editing software sometimes. Like, I guess they're still developing this product, because it can feel a little bit awkward sometimes if you want to change a certain scene. I have found that, on occasion, maybe I cannot shorten something and I have to refresh the project. So there's a few technical bugs here and there, but honestly, it's not been that much of a deal breaker. It's just been somewhat annoying sometimes, but definitely, something to be forgiven, bearing in mind of how amazing the other features are. So if I had to rate Opus Clip, I'd probably give it a 4.7 out of 5. Honestly, an amazing tool. And yeah, I'm really excited to use more of it, because it really is a game changer when it comes to content creation and content posting. If you really want to do it at scale, this is a fantastic tool. I'd recommend it. I'm going to add a link somewhere in the description if you want to try Opus Clip. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you found this video useful. If you did, consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.